everyone, and welcome to my new video on this channel, Free Code School, where I aim to teach Python programming or basic programming to everyone for free. So that's my aim with this channel. And if you do like the content of this channel, do provide me the feedback in the comment section, because that will motivate me a lot in making like other videos related to other topics also in the future. So do put me like a feedback in the comment section to motivate me and inspire me more. And like in this video, I will be talking about variables and data types in Python. So in case if you're not able to see like what is written in these slides, what you can do is you can watch this video full screen. That way you will be able to see everything here. Now in this video, as I told, I'm going to talk about variables and data types in Python. So this is the part one of this Python tutorial series. And in programming, actually, we start everything, we start counting from zero, not from one. What is the reason for this? I will discuss it later in some other video. I will discuss about the exact reason why we start counting from zero but not from one in programming. Now, part zero was regarding how to install Python on your system, and also what is the syllabus for this whole Python tutorial series. So I have discussed that in my part zero of this series. So you can watch that video if you have not watched it, and also you will be able to install Python on your system. That will be helpful. Like I will be programming here, because if you see on the left hand side, you can see that I have a shell here where I will be actually writing the program. So that will be helpful. And the playlist link for this tutorial will be there in the description. So you can, of course, if you have not watched any videos, like if you want to watch the part zero, you can again go back and watch that. And if you want to like learn Python programming, so that's what I told. My aim is to teach you Python programming through this channel. So do subscribe to my channel, and I will also have subtitles here. So you can, like if you're not able to understand my pronunciation, so you should be able to take help of subtitles. And also I will try to put subtitles in multiple languages. And then again, if you have any doubts, of course you can ask here in comments on the YouTube video itself. But also there is a Telegram channel called Free Code School, which I have basically opened. So if you have some doubts, you can join that channel and ask me there, or there will be many others also who can reply there. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn, of course, I have given the ID here. Shiva Mitra 4 is on Twitter, and on LinkedIn, my ID is Shiva Mitra. And of course, the links to everything you can find in description. So you do not need to go to Twitter and search me. Just find the link in the description. And before I move further, like before I go into what is the content for this video, and I start with like teaching you variables and data types in Python. So just see, this is my shell actually, where I will be writing the actual programs. So if you have not set up this, do watch my part zero of this series to set up this. So I am on Mac operating system here, but if you are Windows or Linux or any operating system, it does not matter, because this feature is provided on every of the operating system. So just watch the part zero and then get ready for this tutorial. Now I will just type Python here. I will type Python 3 here, because I will be teaching you everything in Python. You should have Python 3.6 or higher. So if you see my Python version, it's 3.7.2. So latest one is I think 3.8, but it will not matter. If you have 3.6 or more than that, like above 3.6, then it should be fine here. Just clear my screen here. And the other way, let's say if you do not have a desktop or laptop, let's say you do not have, if you want to learn programming, Python programming on your mobile itself, maybe that you do not have, maybe because of some money issues or anything, if you do not have a laptop, no issues. You see my screen here. So what I have done is that there is a website actually. So just open this website. So let me show you the steps here. So just open repl.it, this website, open it on your mobile browser, Chrome browser or anything. Now what you should do is type on start coding here. Then it will ask the language, then select Python here. Then click on this create REPL. So this I have also told in actually in the zeroth part of this series, but again I'm repeating this. So even if you do not have like desktop or laptop due to any financial issues or anything, you can also run Python here. So now you get to a screen here. So here, so in both the ways you can write the code. Here also you can write the code and click this run command. That is one way. Another way is just write it here on the shell itself. So this shell is similar to my shell here. So you can also do one thing, at least for now, when you'll be writing very short programs, better to write that in shell itself. So do expand this. So just drag this to full here. Now just, you can write just like print, maybe this is a simple program in Python, print hello world, and click enter. You see, you are able to print hello world in Python. So you can write the commands here also. And if you want to clear the screen, here is the clear button at the last. Click on this clear. And of course, there is some issue here. So press enter here. Okay. Now again, you have the back to the shell again. Again, you can start writing code after clearing this. But I will not be using this online version of this. I will be using that on my system itself. That is this shell. But if you do not have laptop, of course, you can go back to that. Or if you have laptop also, but you do not want to set all this up like shell and everything, you can use that online tool. Okay, now let's focus back now here. Let's start, learning here variables and data types in Python. So let me tell you the content of this video, like what all I will be covering in this video. So I will start with what are variables in Python. Then I will go to I will talk about different types of data types in Python. But in this video, I will be not covering all the data types. Like there are 5 major data types in Python. I will be covering 2 of them here, that is string data type and numerical data type, or numbers, we call it. And also for every of this, like I will show you examples. I will write you code and show you examples here, because that is the main thing in programming. You do not just want to learn the theory. You also want to learn how to program it, how to declare a variable, how to declare a string variable. So you want to learn all of this. You want to learn coding. So I'll be showing you with a lot of examples so that you get a good amount of practice. And do one thing, whatever I write here, you practice it there on your shell or on your system also. Do practice it, write the same thing there and practice it. And also play with those code. So let's start with what are variables in Python. So before we go to before you go and look into what are variables in Python, let's understand what are variables in maths, because you will be familiar with the maths concept of like variables in maths. So variables, basically variable is a symbol used to represent a numerical value which can change. So that's what the name variable actually implies, right? That means the variable means something which can change, right? That's what variable is. So you can store some value in this variable, like this will be a kind of symbol. Example, you can see the example here, better to understand this. So you would have done this, right? You would have solved this algebraic expression in your maths class. So let's say this is 2x equal to y plus 1. So here x and y are variables because the values in this can change. Like it can take some values, but it can take different values which can change. For example, a solution to this equation can be like x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. This can be one solution to this. So and another solution can be x equal to 2 and y equal to 3. Right? So you see that the value of x and y can vary, and they are able to store some value. Like here, x is storing the value of 1, y is storing 1. In the second case, x is storing 2 and y is storing 3. Right? So basically these variables are storing some value which can change. And another question can be in the math, it will be like 10 years from now, Rohit will be 3 times older than he is today. What is his current age? So how do you solve this problem? So you take some variable first and try to basically adjust that variable according to this problem, right? That's how you solve this problem. So basically in maths, you would have used a lot of variables. Here also in programming, you have variables in which you can store some value which can change, right? So understand this concept. The concept is quite similar to maths here. Now, what are variables in Python? So we understood what are variables in maths. So here also variables are kind of symbol or some name which are used to store some data. So here also variables are used to store some data. Now this data are stored in main memory when you run the program. So all this data, so you write the program, you will like use a lot of data in the program, you will store those data in the variables, and when you actually run the program, all this data will be basically stored in the main memory of the system, and then your program will run. So that's how it happens. Also, programming is all about data and logical statements. Like you will be using a lot of data in your programs that you will store in variables, and you will be also using a lot of logical statements. So about logical statements, I will talk that in later videos, not in this video. Here I will only talk about variables or data. Now there are different data types in Python. So basically in these variables, like different types of data can be stored. It can be either integer, it can be string, it can be float, or it can be many other types of data that you can store in variables. In math, mostly you will store only integers or float numbers, but not in programming. In programming, you can of course store integers and floats in variables, but also you can store other types of data like list, tuple, dictionary. So we will go, I mean, so I will make a video on all of this separately later on. So different types of data in Python are numbers, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, and floating numbers can also be there, 1.2, 1.3, 2.3. Then strings will be there. So in English, you have strings, right? Example can be, my name is Shivam. This is a string basically. Then we will go to list, tuple, and dictionary. So you would not have used list, tuple, and dictionary before. Of course, you would have used numbers and strings, but not list, tuple, and dictionary. So I will make a video on this, and I will teach you this, like how to use these data types. Now, simple example is here. So you can see that, let me write it here also on my right hand side. So message equal to my name is Shiva. You can also write your name. My name is something. You can write it here. Then press enter here. So you can see that here what I'm doing is this message here. This is the variable name. Understand this. And in this variable, I am storing some data. That this data is my name is Shiva. This is the data that is being stored in variable name called message. Understand this. Another example, if you take from maths, x equal to 1. Simple example. Now in this what we are doing, this is the variable whose name is x, and you are storing the value 1 in x. Now you see there are different types of data. This is a different data. This is a string data type, right? And this is a number data type. So both are different data types. So I told you there are 5 different types of data mostly. Here this one is the string, this one is the number. You can also store a floating number like x equal to 1.2. This also you can store. This is again a number here. And about list and other dictionary and other data types, I will discuss it later. Just I will cover I will cover strings and numbers in this video. Now you see the message equal to my name is Shiva. You understood what is the variable name here and what data is stored. And this data can also be different. It can be either a string, a pure integer number, or a float number. It can be anything. Now let's try to print this message. M-E-S-S-A-G. So my typing is a bit slow, so get used to it. I mean, it's a bit slow. So you just print this message. So my name is Shivam is printed here. Now you will think that, okay, this is the first time I am teaching you Python and I have used something new here, right? What is print? I will think what is print here, right? And how, I mean, what does actually print does, right? So let me explain this, because print statement is one of the very important statement in Python. You will be using this a lot of times. So let's understand what is print. So actually print is a function in Python. So this print here is a function here actually. Now so let's try to understand again with the help of maths. What are functions in maths, right? So in maths, what are functions? Functions takes inputs and gives an output depending on the input, right? That's what in maths it happens. A simple example can be f of x equal to x square. So this is a function in maths. Now what this function will do is you can provide different input for x. You can provide value of x as 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. And depending on this input, it will give an output that will be a square of that number, right? You understand this. Now, for example, if you provide the input as 1, your output will be 1. If you provide the input as 2, your output will be 4. So your output is your output actually depends on the input. Similarly, in programming also, functions are quite same here. So in programming, functions also will take some input and will provide you with some output. So if you see print here, this is the function name, and you are providing the input here. The input you are providing is the message. And what print function does is, whatever input you provide to it, it will print that, whatever data is there in that input, it will print that on your screen. You see, when I entered after writing this print message, it is printing my name is Shivam on the screen. So my name is Shivam is stored in this variable. That's why it printed that. For example, if you want to, let's print the value of x, let's say, right? Now, what will be the value printed for x? It will be 1.2. Now you will say, why not 1? Because initially I told that x equal to 1, but then I override it, right? I have overwritten it here, like x equal to 1.2. So the value changed. As you know, variables, the value can change. So it got changed to 1.2. That's why here the value got printed 1.2. So whatever was stored in x, print statement prints that on your screen. Now, this is an example of built-in function in Python. So what are built-in functions? So built-in functions are those functions, those are already present in Python programming language. Those are already present. But you can also write a lot of functions on your own. So that is basically a separate video, like how to write functions. But understand this, that this print function is provided by the Python language itself. Understand this. And more about functions, of course, in a separate video. I will talk about like more about inbuilt functions and how to write your own functions in a separate video, because that is a big topic again. Now, the next question will be, why should I use variables, right? Understand this, see this. Here I have written print, see my screen here on the right hand side. I've written print, my name is Shivam, right? Now you will think that why to store this here? I mean, why to store the variable name here? I can also something do like this. I can do print, my name is Shivam. And this will also output the same thing. My name is Shivam on the screen. Then why to store in this variable and then print, right? Why not just print something like this? Similarly, why not just print 1.2 here? Why to store that in a variable and print, right? You will of course ask this question, right, in your mind. So let me clear this, like why we use variables in programming. Now see, now if you, let's say if you have to do a lot of operations on this, like this is the data, my name is Shivam, and if you want to do a lot of operations on this, so one operation can be like if you want to find the what is the length of this string. So this is a string basically. So you want to find what is the length of this string. Another operation can be you want to convert this string into uppercase. You can see here, right? I have used the length function here. It is again an inbuilt function len, and it will basically give you the length of this string. Similarly, you have like another function called upper. So if you apply that on a string, it will convert the string into upper cases. You can see the example here, right? So let me also show you here. So let's copy paste here. Okay, and if you do something like upper, see my name got printed here. My name is Shiva in capital letters. And length also you can do. You can also write this code here on your system. Write this print length. My name is Shiva. It will print 17 because that's the length of this string. Now see, the issue with this is that whenever you want to do some operation on this string, you have to write the string there, right? You have to write this my name is Shiva every time you have to write this. Why not use a variable and store this string just for once and keep using that variable again and again? See my second code here on the right hand side. Like I read my name is Shivam once, then I am just using print length message. That's quite easy, right? Rather than writing something like this is quite easy. Now let's say I want to do second operation, that is convert this into uppercase. Again, I can write print message.upper. Rather than writing my name is Shivam.upper, it's quite easy, right? Message.upper. So you see that this variables, once you store the data in variables, it makes the program very simple, and also it reduces a lot of repeated work. Because in this case, you are repeating this, right? My name is Shivam, you are repeating everywhere. And this is a very small string. In some cases, this string can be of, I mean, very large size also, right? In many cases. But with variable, you can write a small variable name and you can use that everywhere in the program. So that makes the program very clear, and also it reduces the repeated code. So that's the advantage of using variables. Now, okay, the next part, let me clear my screen here. So the next part is like naming variables. So can I name anything? I mean, can I name anything random? Like, of course, you have to name your variables if you want to store the data. Now, can you name it anything randomly? Will it be valid? Now, this is the next question, right? So let's discuss this. Now, actually, the answer is no. You cannot randomly name something. Let's understand. There are some rules actually which you have to follow while declaring the name of the variable. You should follow this. If you do not follow this, you will get errors, and of course you will get frustrated when you get errors in Python or any programming language. So there is example here. So if you write one message equal to my name is Shivam, okay, just press enter. See, it has given an error here, that syntax error, invalid syntax. Now the next question in your mind will be, I mean, what are errors? I mean, what are errors in Python? Why I'm getting this error, and what are errors actually, right? The next question will be in your mind. So let's first understand what are errors. That is very important. So understand this. If you're writing anything in your language, Hindi, English, or any language, whichever you follow, take example English here. So if you write my name is Shivam versus is name Shivam Mai, which sentence is correct here grammatically and syntax wise in English? Of course, my name is Shivam is correct. Is name Shivam Mai is not correct. Similarly, my name is Shivam versus my name is Shivam. Again, here you have done a spelling mistake here. It should be NAME, but you have done a spelling mistake here. So the first sentence is incorrect. Similarly, in the third line, if you say my name is Shiva, my name are Shivam versus my name is Shivam. Again, you see the first sentence, my name are Shivam is incorrect. It is not grammatically correct. So if you understand in English also, you cannot write random things, right? You have to make a meaning of every sentence. Similarly, in programming, you cannot write some random code and it will work. It will not work. You have to follow some syntax. There is some syntax for any programming language. There will be some syntax. You have to follow that syntax. If you do not follow that syntax, you are going to get errors. So in this case, we have not followed a syntax regarding to how to name the variables, and we got a syntax error, that is invalid syntax. And that's why Python also has syntax. If you do not follow, you will get errors. And of course, I will make a separate video on what are the common errors you will face while writing the code in Python. For that, I will make a separate video. Now let's go. So you see there is error here in naming the variable. So let's now understand what are the rules for naming variables in Python. So the first rule is that variable names can contain only letters, numbers, and underscores. They can start with a letter or an underscore, but not with a number. So you know what mistake we are doing here? We are starting a variable name with a number. That we cannot do. You see the second line here? They can start with a letter or an underscore. So you can start something like this. Simply we write x equal to 1. You can do this. This is correct. You can start variable name with underscore. You cannot do something like 1x equal to 1. You cannot do this because you cannot start a variable name with a integer. You cannot start that. And of course, you can start with alphabets also. You can write something like ax, simple example, equal to 1. This you can do, no issues. So you can start a variable name with a underscore or a letter, but not with any number. Also, variable names can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores. So let's say if we write, let's say x1, x dash 1. So is this a valid variable name or not? So try to guess it depending on what I have written on the right hand side. Right. So let me put the value 2 for this variable name. See, it is again giving, it's an can't assign to operator. So there is some issue here because you cannot use like dash and everything in your variable name. You cannot do this. What you have to, you can only use letters, numbers, underscore. So you can do something like x1 equal to 1. This is valid because you are using a digit and you are not starting this with a digit. You are using digit after letter. This is valid. No issues with that. But if you use some random like other, like you can also write like x, y, z equal to 1. This is valid. You can use letters and combination of numbers you can use. You can also use x underscore 1 equal to 1. You can write this also. No issues with this. So you can of course follow all these rules, right? But do not start a variable name with a number, and also do not, when you are writing some variable name, only use letters, numbers, and underscores. Do not use any other random any random letters or anything. Do not use that. Now let's move on to the, okay, there is example also should be here. Like you can see here, like I have given the example here. In this case, like I have started the message with, this is like a correct one. Message is equal to my name is Shiva. I have printed this. Then with underscore also, I can start the variable name. This also works fine in Python. Now suppose you want to write two different messages, right? Like here one message was my name is Shiva, but you want to write two different messages. So I told you, you cannot start like the variable name with like one underscore message. You cannot do this. You cannot start the variable name with one, because if you see here, I've got some error here, a syntax error, invalid token. So I can write it here also like one message equal to my name is Shiva. See, I have got an error, invalid token. You cannot start something with like one. You cannot start with the name one. That's why I got an error here. And also, you also write all this code on your system also to keep practicing it. But what you can do is you can just clear my, let me clear my screen here. But of course, you can do something like this. Masses underscore one, you can do something like this. So what you can do is you can write something like masses. This you can write, no issues with this. Then try to print it. This would be fine. My name is Shivam. Of course, you can use the digits and all, but do not start with it. Within the variable name, you can use this like 1, 2, 3 everywhere, anywhere in between, but do not start it. Similarly, if you want to write message 2, write message underscore 2, and then you will get valid input, valid output you will get here. So this is the first rule. Now what is second rule? Now spaces are not allowed in variable names, but underscores can be used to separate words in variable name. So do not use space, any space within your variable name. Do not use it. You can use integers. You can use any alphabets like ABCD, or you can use underscore, but do not use space within the variable name. Like simple example here can be, if you write like something like message and then put a space here and write one, right? This is invalid, this is not valid. And if you write like anything, let's say again, let me write my name is Shivam. Right? Again, you see there is error, invalid token. So you cannot do this. There will be error if you put a space within your variable name. So do not do this. And you can see invalid syntax, I got this error here. The third rule is that avoid using Python keywords and function name as variable names. That is, do not use words that Python has reserved for a particular programmatic purpose, such as word print. So see this example. I have this example here. If you write if equal to my name is Shivam, so you will say that, I mean, this is if is valid, right? Because it is not starting with numbers and it only has alphabets. So it should be a valid variable name, right? In your opinion, but it's not so. If you press enter, you get again invalid syntax. That's because if is a reserved keyword. So what do you mean by reserved keyword? That means that actually, see, Python is a programming language. So it also has some syntax. Take example of your language like English or Hindi. Like in English, is, are, the, these all have a special meaning, right? Similarly in programming also, there are reserved keywords which has a special meaning, which you should not use it while declaring variables. I will show you that. So you got an error here. Now, what are keywords in Python? So this is your next question. So these are reserved words in Python which are used to define the syntax of the programming language. Like for grammar in English, you use is, are, everything, right? Those are the syntax of English. Similarly, in Python also, these are the reserved keywords which are used to define the syntax of the language. So see, if you are also using if here in the variable name, also if has some other special meaning in Python, now the Python language will get confused, right? That's why do not use that in variable name. The way I've written here in English is the you are a reserved words which defines the grammar. Similarly here. Now keywords have different meaning for Python language. So I'm not going to tell you what is the special meaning of if here, but of course in a later video we will understand that. So do not worry about that. Also do not use them in your variable names or function names. Do not use this. Now let me, okay, see this. If has special meaning in Python. So this is a code that we will discuss later, but I've just given an example here. So let's say if you want to find out like if x is greater than 2, is simple logic. This is logical statement. Like if x is greater than 2, print x is greater than 2. You have to print this, right? So if has a special meaning here in Python. It checks where that x is greater than 2 or not. So that's what special meaning is. So do not use if in variable names or any keywords, reserved keywords in variable names. Now next question will be what are the other keywords in Python? Like it's not if is the only keyword in Python. There are many other keywords like false, none, true, and everything, right? So you will get used to these keywords later on when you write more code. You will be using these special keywords there. But these are list of like these are the list of keywords which you should not use as variable names. And of course, you should not use function name also for variable name. So if you write like print is a function, I told you, print is a function in Python. Now if you write print equal to my name is Shivam, again there will be some issue. You will see that there is, I mean, while pressing enter, nothing happened. But when you try to print this print with, so when you try to print this print with print, see this, string object is not callable. That's what I written here. So what this means is that, see, print has a special meaning in Python. Print is a function name. Now you are defining that print, you are changing the definition of this function. You are assigning the print a variable, I mean some data, right? Some string data. So that's why it gets confused when you are writing print, right? At this moment, print has changed, right? Initially, print was used to uh, print whatever you provide in the input. But now you have changed the definition of print itself. Now you are telling that print is a variable name that stores this data. So that's why there is an error here. So more about these functions I will explain in another video. To understand it, do not use function names also. Like inbuilt function name, do not use them in your as a variable name. Like there are many inbuilt functions again, like some of them are abs, all, any, like there are multiple built-in functions. So do not use these names as your variable names. See, it's written here, you won't get an error if you use one of the following readily available built-in functions as a variable name, but you will override the behavior of that function. So see, when we type this first line, print equal to my name is Shivam, and when we pressed enter, we did not get any error, right? But you're overriding the this function. This print is actually a function. You're overriding it by this string. So that's why when you are trying to print this, that's when you are getting error, because print has changed now. Initially, print was used to print whatever input you provide, but you have overridden that function. That's why the error here. So those are the three rules which you should keep in mind while writing the variable name. So the first rule is simple. Do not start variable name with a digit. You can start with underscore, and also only include alphabets or like numbers or underscore in your variable name. Second rule was do not use any space in your variable name. And the third rule was that do not use any inbuilt functions or special keywords in your variable name. Do not use that. Now, some other important points are also there. This is not a rule, but this you should keep in mind. Now, variable names should be short but descriptive, right? Like name is like if you want to declare a name, right? If you want to store some name, so you will write name equal to some name, let's say Shivam, right? Now, if you write n equal to Shivam, right? This also you can do. It's not wrong in Python. But understand this, when you're writing n equal to Shivam, it's not descriptive enough. So what does this n means, right? You do not know. But you are writing name equal to Shivam, when somebody will read your code, they will understand, okay, this is a name actually, and the name is Shivam, right? So try to write variable name which are descriptive, which have some meaning actually. Do not write some random. I mean, you can of course declare some random variable names. You can declare it like an underscore x equal to Shivam, right? But this is quite random, I mean, and it does not look good here, right? So do not do this. And also be careful. And another example in message is better than writing M or my name message, right? I mean, just try to keep your program simple so that anyone else is trying to read your code, they can also understand. Now be careful when using the lowercase l and the uppercase o, because if you see l, it is something like one also, like it looks like one, and similarly capital O, uppercase letter O, looks like zero. So try to just take care in this, like because you may get confused between one and zero here. Example see here, like I'm not going to write this code, but you can see the example here. Like letter equal to A is fine, but if you by mistake press one, I mean write one here and enter equal to A, there is a mistake here because you cannot start with digit. So this is simple. This mistake you will not do, but just keep it in mind. Similarly for like capital O, do not write zero here. Both will look similar, so do not do this. You will get errors. Now it can take some practice to learn how to create good variable names, right? So you will always think how to name this variable in your program, and it's actually very tough. Even if you are a very experienced programmer, you will waste a lot of time in thinking the names of the variable, because your code will also be, maybe some others will also read your code, right? So you want to write very clear code, write very good variable names so that others can also understand. So it takes time, especially as your programs become more interesting and complicated. As you write more programs and start to read through others people code, you will get better at coming up with meaningful names. So do not get worried now. You can keep practice of writing good variable names, meaningful variable names. But as you practice more and more, you will get used to it. So it comes with practice. So do not worry about it. So another important thing is how to avoid name errors when using variables. So this is a very, I mean, simple mistake that you will do. So you will write like maybe just let me take this like let me search it. I don't want to write that message again. Okay. So this is the message. Message equal to my name is Shivam, right? While printing, you may write print MESAGE. Now, at first sight, it will look like okay, you have written the right name, but you see this. You have written the wrong name here. You are using the variable name MESSAGE. See the spelling here. But in the print, you have used MESAGE. You are missing one S here. That's why it is written here. There is an error here called name error, and it tells you that name MESAGE is not defined. Well, of course, you have not defined this variable. You cannot print a variable without, so you cannot use a variable without defining that variable. So this is called defining a variable. When you basically write something message equal to my name is Shivam, you are defining the variable. And it's not compulsory always to write store some data. You can also write something equal to message is equal to just like something like this. That means there is no data in this, like there is empty data in this. This also you can do. It's not compulsory that you should write some message itself, right? My name is Shivam. But next time what you can change it. Like initially you can do equal to something and later on you can change it. Like if you want to store something message in this. So take care of this. Do not, I mean, this you will get frequently I mean, in programming. If you use the wrong name, if you have not defined some variable and you are using that, you will get this name error. So be careful of this. Now let's move on to next topic, like how to find the data type of a variable. So data type can be anything, right? It can be string, it can be integer, it can be list. So how you can find with the help of Python itself, what is the actual data type of the variable? So let's say I mean, we have like message here, right? We have message here. Sorry. I am writing the wrong name. So, okay, MESSAGE. Let me just search it. Okay. Message equal to my name is Shivam. Now, you know that the data type of this is string, but how you can ask Python to basically tell that the data type of this is string, right? So what you can do is you can use print. There is a function called type. And if you provide the input of variable name to this function, it will give you what is the data type of this variable. But you see, in this case, you have got an error. And you know why you have got this error? So if you remember sometime before, if you just, what we did with print, we have overridden the function of print. So print was supposed to basically print something on the screen. But if you remember, we have in the previous slide, if you remember, here, right? We have done something like print equal to my name is Shivam. So that's why the issue is happening. So other way to do that, just type print here. See, it's printing my name is Shivam. So another way of printing something on your screen is that if you are declaring some data and if you want to print it in your terminal here, like shell here, you can just write the name of the variable itself and it will be printed. You do not have to write print statement every time in this shell. This you can do only in shell. But if you're writing the program in this text editor, you cannot do this. You can do that only in the shell. In the Python shell, you can do that, but not in the editor. In editor, if you want to print something, you have to write print, then the variable name. Here in the shell, you can just write the variable name, it will print it. See, we have changed the function of print. That's why you are getting error here. So do one thing, use delete command and do delete print. So what this will do is, so this will declare this as a variable name, right? So it will delete that. Now, if you do like, if you again type print here, built-in function print. Now it's a built-in function again. So before this, what we did was we changed it to a variable, right? And we assigned the value something, my name is Shivam. And that's why this got printed. Now we deleted this variable print. Now again, it's back to a built-in function. So now just type print, type message, just type it here. And you should see class string. So string is the data type of this variable. So basically that means string is the data type of this variable. That means in this variable, a string data type is stored. That's what you get here. Do not worry about what is class here. We will discuss about class in later videos. Similarly, let's example again, another example, x equal to 2, right? Try to print again, like just print this here. Let's go back one command and print type of x. So what will be the output for this? Try to guess it. What will be the output for this? It should be integer here, right? Because 2 is an integer. What if x equal to 1.2? Again, do this. It's a float here. You see, it is printing out what is the data type of what you are storing in this variable. It is printing that type X. This is very useful when you want to know what is data type which you are storing in your variable. This is again a built-in function in Python. Now we are done with like understanding what are variables, how to declare variables, how we should name the variables. So this is done now. Let's start with a famous, I mean the famous or the one of the famous or important data types in Python, that is strings. Now let's start with this. So we already have declared something in string here. My name is Shivam, but we will focus more on this string data type. Now, what are strings? What are string data type? Now, a string is a series of characters, right? So if you see here, my M is a character, Y is a character, space is there, N is a character, right? So basically, string is a sequence of characters. Now, these characters can be alphabets, digits. It can be some special characters also. It can be white spaces also. Like here you have white spaces there, right? After my, you have white space here. After name, you have white space. So it can be white space also. And it can be digits also, right? You can also write something like this. So sorry. My name is Shivam. Maybe one. You can also write this. No issues. I mean, you can print it. So from now onwards, you can also just type the variable name. This will also be helpful in printing. If you do not want to use print every time, it's okay. You can just write the variable name here. It will also print, but it will also tell you that it will print with single quotes. That means this is a string actually. That's why it has used in single quotes here and printed my name is Shivam. There's a difference between the print function. In print function, you will not see a single quotes. When you use print function to print this message, you will not see the single quotes because it does not tell you whether it is string or not. It will just print the raw value. Here it is also telling you that it's a string because it's enclosed in single quotes. Now anything inside quotes is considered as a string in Python. Now quotes can be either single quotes or double quotes. Now you can use double quotes or single quotes for your strings. It does not. So in this example, for example here, I can also use single quotes. It should not be issue here. I can use also this and try to print this. See, in this case also it's printed my name is Shivam 1, no issues. So for strings, you can either enclose the string in single quotes or double quotes. It should not be a worry for you. Sorry. Now you can see here the example I have given. See here, this is a string and print this message. This is with single quotes I have done and this is string is printed. And also you can print the type of message. You see string is there. This is the data type of the this variable. Data type is string. Similarly, another example is in the second one I have used double quotes for storing this string. This also you can do. It's valid. And then try print message. This is string is printed. Print type of message. Again see this is again a string. So you can use either a single quotes or double quotes. You can also use some random characters also in your string. See, in this example, this is also a string, 1 underscore modulus equal to $2. This I have written. If you print this, this also gets printed. As I told you, you can use alphabet, some special characters, numbers, everything you can use in your string. Now the next question is whether you should use single quotes or double quotes, because both are valid when you are defining a string. You can define with single quotes or double quotes. Now, but your question, you will have a question, right? Whether I should single quote or double quotes. So according to me, you can use any of this, but be consistent in your code. So if you want to use single quotes, use single quotes everywhere in your code. It's not that do not do a mixture of using single quote and double quotes, because when someone else is reading your code, he or she may be confused. So if you are using single quotes, use single quotes everywhere in your program. If you are using double quotes, use double quotes everywhere in your program. But there are some exceptions in this. So this is, I mean, just pause it here and try to print this text on screen. Try to print. This is the actual text you have to print. The language Python, this Python is in single quotes here, is named after Monty Python, not the snake, right? Try to print this on your screen. Also try to print, I told my friend, then Python is my favorite language. Now this Python is my favorite language is in double quotes. Try to print it. So let me try to do, I mean, I cannot copy paste this, but I will just write a simple line. I will not write this line here. Message equal to maybe, let me use first double quotes, maybe try with this. Now I will just write this, the Python, maybe simple line I will write the Python maybe. And again, I will end this with double quotes. Now try to print this. I will not, from now onwards, I will not use the print function that I've told you that print function is used to print something, but in the shell, you can also directly write the variable name and print it. So from now onwards, I will just write the variable name. See here, what happens here, the Python is printed and Python is printed in single quotes, right? And this double quotes is just because, you are using a string here, right? For that, there is double quotes here. But you see, this single quote also got printed here. But if you do something like this, if you enclose this in single quotes and try to, just try this, you see you are getting error here, invalid syntax. If you write this message equal to this Python, why that is happening is, see, according to Python, what happens, it will understand this single quotes you have started here, and this is the another single quotes. So it will think that this is the string here, this only is the string, and after this there is some other code. It will try to interpret something like this. Now, of course, this is not a valid code. Python, this is not a valid code. For this message, for Python, this is only the string, and the rest part is some other code. And also, of course, it's an error because Python something is some random code. It's not a proper syntax in Python. So that's why you get error here. So if you want to print this, so if you want to print some line which has single quotes, always enclose that in double quotes. This is exception case here. So if you want to print, if you want to print some line in which there is single quotes, always enclose that in double quotes. That's the rule here. Similarly, do the opposite. If you have like a second line, like message equal to this one, the Python. You want to print Python in now double quotes. Now, if you do this, there is no error here, right? There is no error here if you see. Why? Because we have used single quotes here. It's okay. When you're using single quotes and if you have double quotes inside, no issues. But if you use something like this, you will get an error here. See, invalid syntax. Again, for Python, it will think the string starts from here, and it ends here. That's what Python will think. And after this code, it's some random code. It's not a proper syntax. That's why it's given a syntax error here. So you should not, you understood the logic now, right? If you want to print something which is there in single quotes, enclose that in double quotes as a string. When you want to print something that has something in double quotes, enclose that in single quotes, right? Do always the opposite. You will not get error then. I've shown the example here also, right? How to basically, when I'm trying to print the language, like single quotes Python is named after Monty Python, not the snake. In this case, I have enclosed this in double quotes. And in the second example, I have enclosed this in single quotes because I am trying to print double quotes, right? Now, the assignment for you, try to find out if it is possible to print first message by using single quotes and second message by using double quotes. So trying to find out if you can print this language, then the Python enclosed within single quotes is named after Monty Python, not the snake. Try to print this by using the single quote itself. Can you do that? Try that, if you can do that. And similarly, the other thing, can you do that? Try to do that if you can do that. And also write that in comments if you can do that, how you are able to do that. Now, see, now string, we know already now, we now know what is string, what does string actually stores, right? Now we know that. You can use single quote, double quotes, anything. Now let's understand, there are some built-in functions associated with strings. So these are very useful with strings, like you can do some operations on strings, which is very useful. So let's try to understand these inbuilt functions. So these functions are provided by Python itself for strings. Now the first important function is upper or lower function, right? So let me go to my name is Shivam, this message. Okay, remove one from here. Let's go to this message. My message is equal to my name is Shivam. Now let's try to, okay, if you're not understanding how I am searching this and all, do not worry, you can always write this again and again if you want to. Like on my Mac, I have some commands to do searching of this, or always you can go back with this, right? With your arrow keys, you can always go back also. But I find like a command is there for searching. I find that useful. Of course, you can also find that command on Mac or Windows. You can use that. Now I was here, message equal to my name is Shivam. Okay, let me just use double quotes everywhere. Right. Because I am using double quotes from beginning. So let me use double quotes for now, for this everything here. To make it standard, if I'm using double quotes, use it everywhere. Now message equal to my name is Shivam in double quotes. Now if you want to convert this message, that is my name is Shivam, into uppercase or lowercase, you can use a function to do that. So what you can do is see this. Let me first show you. So you can do something like this, message dot upper, right? What it will do is, this is a function called upper, which you are applying to this message variable. It will convert this message, whatever is stored in this message, to upper cases. Press enter here. My name is Shivam is printed, right? You can see here, this is in uppercase. And of course, I told you, you can also use something like print. You can also use print statement here, message dot upper. But I am trying to avoid writing print every time, right? So just type whatever you want to print on the screen itself, it will print. Sorry. Okay, I have to use function here. See, there was again syntax error because I didn't use this, right? Proper function, because in function you have to provide this thing, right? You have to provide this. I didn't use that. I got an error. Okay, again I got an error. Okay, the number of brackets, I think. Okay. Okay, my name is Shivam. This is correct now. See, I can use this also. Now you have to understand one thing. One thing you have to keep important. This is very important. That now you will think that is the variable. So initially you were storing the lowercase message in this variable message. Now after using upper, will the value change in the message? Let's try to find out that. Print message. See, the value in the message is still my name is Shivam. It's not the uppercase. That means that if you use upper function or lower function, it will not change the value in the variable itself. You have to, if you want to do that, you have to do it differently. That I will show you. And also you can write message dot lower also. That's the opposite of this. Another function, it will print everything in lower letters. Now, of course, this is lower, so it does not make any change here, but maybe just write this as my name is Shivam. Do this. Now, message out lower. Now you see, initially the message was like Shivam was in capital letters. Now it again got changed to small letters. We're using lower. These are functions which you can use in Python for converting string into upper or lower case. But remember this will not change the original value in the message. So if you print message, it's still my name is capital Shivam, right? That I changed here. The value did not change after using the function lower. So similarly, if you can see print lower, it will print the lower thing, right? This I have shown it here. Now, okay. Now, what is the difference between, you will say why we are writing the function here like dot lower? Why you are initially we are writing print function as print something the value, but now we are using variable name dot something, right? Why this function is different here? Because if you see the syntax for both the function is different here. Now see, the main issue is that this lower function is specific to string here. You cannot apply lower function to maybe other data type. You cannot apply that. You can only apply lower function to strings. That's why we are using variable, the string name dot, I mean, whatever variable you are storing string into dot lower. That's why. But for the print function, you can provide any variable there, right? You can provide integer, you can provide strings, you can provide float, anything you can provide, and print will display that on your screen. So that's why the syntax for both is different. See, print is specific to multiple data types, but lower function is specific to strings. That's why. So you have to always use dot operators. This acts on a variable and converts it into lower or uppercase. In this example, this dot is, that signifies that this lower function will act on this whatever is stored in this message and will convert that into lowercase. And original data does not change. Remember this, right? But if you want to change the original data, let me clear this. So if you want to change the original data, so this was, let's say this is the original data. Now you want to change this to all lowercase. What you can do is message equal to message dot lower. Now what this will do is, this will actually change the data in this message, because you are overwriting this. You are overwriting a data in this variable message. So if you do this, press enter, print message now. See, now the value in the message got changed now, right? So if you want to make a permanent change to the value, do something like this. Use the function and assign this to the variable name. This way you can change it. But if you do not want to change it permanently, you just want a temporary change, right? So you can just, what I did before this, just type message.lower. Do not store it in variable message. That way you are not going to change the value. So this example, I have shown it here also. And another example, I have shown it here also. Like if you want to change into uppercase, but is to also change the value in the message, then write message equal to message dot upper and then print the message. This is a string will be printed and the value is changed here. Now next one is title function. So I'm not going to now tell you like, I'm not going to show you the code here. Examples are here, but you should write this code on your screen, on your shell. Try to write it, practice it, right? Because I have given you example of upper and lower function, right? Again, there is another function called title function. This title function will convert the first character of each word into uppercase. For example, you see here, like name equal to Shiva Mitra, right? Now, if you use print name dot title, you see the first letter of each word is converted into capital letters. So the printed word is capital S, then Shivam, and then capital M, right? So that's what is done with title. Because title normally you will, whenever you write a title anywhere, you will want the first letters to be capital, right? Every time. And if you want, see, and this does not change the value of name. Name will still store the small letter Shivam and small letter Mitra. But if you want to change the value in variable itself, then write name equal to name dot title, then print name. You see the value has changed in the variable itself. This is very important. So another important function that you can use on strings is length function. So basically this will give you the length of the string. So a single character is of length 1. So maybe just write x equal to a. This is also a string in Python. Now try to print the length of a. So length of x here. It is 1 because you have a single character there. Now what if x equal to ABC? What will be the length here? If you print the length, what will be the length? It should be 3 because ABC is 3 characters. Try to print length of x again. Say 3. Now let's say length equal to ABC space. Now what will be the length of this? Will it be 3 or 4? And so try to first guess it. But it should be 4 actually. Why? Because space is also considered as a character in string, right? As I told you before. If you also write like ABC1, something like this, it should be 5 now. Because digit is also considered as as a character in a string. Similarly, space is also considered. So it should be length is 5. So basically length will give you what is the length of this string. Characters can be alphabets or digits or punctuation or white space, anything it can be. Now, one thing you should note is that, again, you see, we are not using x dot length here. Try to use x dot length, right? It gives you an error that it does not have any attribute length. Why? Because see, length is not only used for strings. Length can also be used for other data types. It can also be used for list data type that we will read about it later. So length is a function which can be applied on multiple data types. That's why you cannot use something like x.len because that is not specific to strings. It can also be applied to other data types. But it is also applicable to strings. That's why I have shown you here. Now there are some other important functions called strip functions. In strip functions, you have 3 categories. One is strip function, one is L strip, and another is R strip. So let me tell you what all are these. These are very important because this will help you in removing the extra white spaces from a string. So in many cases, what will happen is like when you are writing, so whenever you are writing your username or password, when you are writing a username in your browser, when you are submitting some form, maybe that you are, maybe by mistake, some white spaces may be present at the end or at the beginning of your username. So in your program, you can clean that using these functions. So see this example, like string 1 equal to Python space. Now this here is an additional white space here that I have left here, right? Now maybe you want to clear this white space. It may happen, right? You want to clear this. Now what is the length of this? You know, the length of this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because white space is also considered as a character here. You can just do this string 1 just to verify this. 7 is the output here. So here also I have given an example, right? So string 1 and string 2 is there. You print the length of like a. I have given some example of length function here that I have shown you already there. So I have done that here also. Now what is R strip for? So let's take this string equal to Python. So I have left one space like at the beginning, if you see, and one space at the end, right? So what we will do is we will try to apply some functions and try to change this. Now what is R strip for? So remove the white space at the right end. So if you apply just you apply maybe string dot, and also these functions are specific to the strings data type. That's why we will use dot operator and write rstrip. See, now this space at the end got removed. That's what rstrip does. It will remove the white spaces at the right hand side. So this was the right end space that got removed now. Only the at the beginning the space is remaining, right? This is done by rstrip. And also I've given example here. You can verify with the help of length. Initially the length will be like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. It will be 9 here. After doing rstrip, it should be 8 because one white space got removed. So that's what I have done here in the uh, example here. Now what is L strip? L strip removes white spaces from left end. So if you want to remove this white space also that is at the beginning, so what you can do is you can use L strip. See, now if you see, the space at the beginning got removed, but the space at the end is still there. Understand this. This is very important. R strip or L strip will not change the value in that string, right? I mean, if you print here, like if you have print here, if you print the, so okay, one question, right? What if you print a string now? What should be printed here? Will it have like spaces at the beginning and spaces at the end? Will it have, or will it have only the spaces at the end but not at the beginning, right? Print it. See, you have spaces at the both end. Why? Because R strip or L strip does not change the value in the variable. It will not change. It just is printing you the, I mean, after removing the spaces, it is printing you that on the screen. If you want to change that, use something like this. Uh, Sorry, this is string here. Now what will happen is when you do this, when you assign this function to a variable name actually, now if you print a string, now you see the left hand, so left end space, white space got removed because now you are assigning this variable to that function. Basically, now what will happen, the change value will now be stored in the string. The old value will be removed. So that's what happened here. Remember this. All the functions like title function, upper, lower, L strip, R strip, all these functions work something like this. So remember, this is very important. Now, strip removes, there is another function called strip. So L strip, R strip is there. Now, but if you want to, let's say, remove the white spaces from both the ends. So in this case, let's go back to this string. Okay, again, so we have again spaces at both the beginning, at the end, and you want to remove both of these at one go. Because if you use R strip, it will remove it from right hand side. If you use L strip, it will remove it from left hand side. But what if you want to remove both the spaces? So just use string dot what is strip. See, you are able to remove it from both the end. But if you print string, still spaces are there because you have not changed the value. For changing the value, you have to do something like this. Now print string. Now both the, I mean the actual value in the variable now got changed. So understand this in this. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, that is using variables inside a string. So let's say if you want to use a, I will show you example here. Like you have to combine these two to produce full name, right? You have the first name in a variable called first name. You are storing like your first name in the variable name called first name. You are storing the like your second, like my name is Shivam Mitra. I'm storing Mitra in last name, right? Now you have to combine these both and produce something like my name is and Shivam Mitra. You have to print something like this. You cannot do this shortcut here. You cannot do something like this. Print uh, my name is Shivam Mitra. You cannot do like this. This is actually cheating here. You cannot do something. Of course, you can print this my name is Shivam Mitra using this logic also, but no, you do not have to do like this. So basically, what you have to do is you should have first name equal to Shivam and last name. You can write your own name. Last name equal to Mitra. Now you have to use these two variables, first name and last name, to print something like my name is Shivam Mitra. That you have to do. Now how we can do this? Let's try to understand this. Sorry. So you can use f strings here. So in Python 3.6 and plus, f strings is there. If you are in your old version of Python like 3.5, 3.2, it will not be there in older version, but in the latest version 3.6 plus or 3.6 is there. Now this is a feature available from Python 3.6. So you should try to install Python 3.6 or higher. Now this starts with string with f. So you have to start the string with f if you want to use variable names inside a string. Now f stands for format because you are trying to format a string. Now how you can do is that put braces around the variable name, right? This is important. See, I see this example here on my left hand side. Now look at right hand side. Now I want to write full name and I want to write something like my name is. Now I told you I cannot directly write Shiva Mitra here. That is cheating here, right? So I have to use variable name. So how you can I do is I have to substitute the value of first name now, right? So you just open this braces here and write first name. Now what will happen actually is, so in this, so when you are using this f, so you have to use f also here. I forgot. At the beginning, you have to write f, and then this, and then first name, right? And of course, I have to go to new line now, and then write, put a space here, then write last name. And again, like other strings, again, close this with the double quotes. Now, what I'm doing with this is that when you are using f here at the beginning, and when you are putting something in like braces like this, then what will happen? The whatever value is stored in first name will get substituted here in the place of first name, and whatever value is stored in the variable last name will get substituted here. So let's try to print full name. See what got printed? My name is Shiva Mitra. The braces and all will not get printed because in place of this, all of this, my first name, what is stored in the first name will get substituted. In place of this last name, whatever I have declared in last name, Mitra, will get substituted here. So that's what happened. And you see at last I printed my name is Shiva Mitra. And this is not by cheating, right? I used the variable names actually and then printed this, right? So this is very important in Python and you will use this a lot. So understand what are the F strings. And these are very powerful if you see, right? Very powerful strings. And another advantage here is that another example I've given, you see on right hand side now, I will not write this code. Or you can see here, I have written here full name equal to F. I'm using the F string. Then I have substituted the value first name, last name here. And then you can also do something like this. My full name is, and like maybe I can use it here. In the last name, maybe I can do dot first name dot upper. Just an example here. Right. So you can do this also, right? If you print now full name, you see Mitra got printed in uppercase. So within this curly braces, you can apply functions also to the strings. You can apply upper, lower, R strip, L strip, anything. You can apply it in this curly braces and it will work here. It will work like normal Python code. This is a very advantage I am in. So try to practice this F strings. This is very important. Now, but there is one issue here. Now you will think that, so you can only, this is like Python code here. Once you are using F and curly braces, these are Python code. But you cannot, if you write some wrong name here, maybe let's say you do a spelling mistake here, right? Maybe you do first NAM, right? You are missing E here. Then you will get an error here. Because first NAM, under the score NAM, this variable is not defined. I told you, if you do not define a variable and use it, you will always get an error. So you see name error we have got. So remember this. Only use those variable names that you have defined. That only you can use your F string. You cannot use some other random variable names that you have not defined. Okay, now see, this is one example of basically here also what you can do is with the use of F strings, you can concat two strings. Here what I have done, I have concat two strings, right? Because I have concat this first name and last name here, right? In single string. But there is another way to do this actually. But I will always, I will always advise you to use F string to do this. Whenever you want to substitute some variable or anything, use F strings. But if you do not want to substitute any variable, then, and if you want to, let's say, concat this, let's say, if you want to do something like this, maybe name equal to Shivam plus space plus Mitra, right? I want to write something like this, name equal to Shivam plus then space plus Mitra, right? So this will also work. If you print name, see Shivam Mitra is printed, right? Because if you use plus operator within the strings, it will concat it. It will basically add that at the end. So initially Shivam will be there. After using plus, it will add this space to after Shivam, it will add this space. And after this again, when you are using plus, after this space, this Mitra will be appended. That's what happened in the output. So you can also use plus operator to concat multiple strings. Another example I will give you is name equal to maybe Shivam, maybe special Mitra. I mean, this is concat of, you can also concat multiple strings, right? Also, you can do also this, print this, Shivam special Mitra is printed here without spaces because I have not used spaces here. So you can concat like multiple here. You can use 4, 5 plus operators. It's no worry, it will work. This is another way to concat multiple strings. So now let's move on to another important one, like adding white spaces to strings with tabs or new lines. So in programming, white spaces refers to any non-printing character. So for example, name is equal to Shivam and then a white space here, right? If you print name here, see this is a non-printing character. It's not this character does not get printed here. That's why this is an example of white space here. Now, it does not have to be always a single space. It can also be tabs. So basically tabs is like a combination of spaces. It can be either 4 space or 8 space or anything that depends depending on your system. By default, mostly it's 4 space. So I will, let's see here, name equal to, for if you want to print like 4 space, if you want to use tab, you can write /t basically in your this and write Shivam here. Now try to print the name. Nothing happened, right? This /t got printed, right? It didn't print the space, right? That's because this is a special character here. You cannot do some, you have to use print here if you want to actually see the effect of white space because that is special character here. So write print name. See here, I think it's like close to 8 spaces, right? I think. So it depends on system to system. So you see there are additional spaces here and then Shivam got printed here. So that's the power of tab here. You can use your while you want to print something. And you can also use white space to organize your output so that it's easier for user to read. So let me give you an example here. See this, like if you print Python here, Python is printed. But if you print using tab here, that is /t is the special symbol for that. Then after some spaces, Python will be printed. It can be either 8, either 4, depends on your system. Also, you can add new line to your code actually. That's very important. See the example here. In the first case, I have written print languages, Python, C, JavaScript. So do this here also, like print. Maybe just write Python, C, and JavaScript. Now see, I have 3 languages here, Python, C, and JavaScript. If I print something like this here, this does not look very good, right? Why not use I mean, our aim is, let's say, to separate this all of this with a new line, right? So you can use /n here, another special character. If you do this, you see what got printed. Python got printed first. Then of course there was a space here. That's why C got printed and JavaScript again got printed with a space, but all got printed in a new line. So if you use /n, I mean each of these data will be printed in a new line. So that's what /n does. And if you want, you can combine this with /t. Let's say something like languages. And maybe what you can do is /t you can do /n. So again here /t/n. I will tell you what this is. /t/n. I try to print it. Okay, some mistake I did. Okay. So after language also I have to do /n. See how beautifully this got printed here. So print what I did. I used languages. Then I use /n. /n is for new line. So after languages gets printed on the screen, you are going to enter a new line. Then what I have done is I have used /t here, right? /t is for additional space at the beginning. I have used this. So it will have some additional space at the beginning. That's what you see, some additional space are there at the beginning. Then I am telling to print Python and again /n. That means after printing Python, again enter a new line because /n is there. Again in the new line, again /t is there for additional space, and then print C and again enter new line. Again, slash t for tab here, another additional spaces here at the beginning, sorry. Additional spaces at the beginning, and the JavaScript, and again slash n is for new line. So basically you can use this slash n and slash t for formatting your output, like for beautifully printing your output if you want to, right? And it's just an additional thing you should know about strings if you want to use this. Slash n you will be using multiple times, because if you want to print some output in multiple lines, you can use slash n. Now, okay, we are done with the strings data type, and I hope that you would have understood strings, like what strings are actually. You can also use double quotes, single quotes to represent that. What are some of the important functions you can apply on strings, like lower, upper, everything. And very important was the f strings. Like in the f strings, you can substitute variable name, and that will get substituted there. That is very important. And the last one was mostly about like printing some special like characters like slash t, slash n, right? How to use this basically, how to print white spaces on the screen, right? The last thing was. So we are done with the strings now. So you have now, I mean, you now know about a data type called string now in Python, right? Now we will go to the second one, that is numbers data type. So let me clear my screen. So numbers data type is quite easy because you already have used a lot of numbers in your day-to-day life. So it's not quite tough. String was a bit complex because strings you are using for the first time. You also, of course, have used that in English, but here you are using for the first time. But see, numbers are quite easy. What are numbers? It's integers. It's 1, 2, 3. It can be floating numbers like 1.2, 2.55, 3.66, right? And these data types are used very frequently. You will use strings and numbers, these data types, very frequently in your program. Now, what are integers? So integers basically, in strings, you cannot do addition, subtraction, and everything, right? But in this thing, in integers, you can do this. Just write like example 2 plus 3. It will print you 5. See the magic here. You have used two integers, 2 and 3, and you have given an operator here plus that is used to add these two numbers. It got printed 5 here. Similarly, do 3 minus 2. It gives you 1. Basically, so these are simple operations on integers, right? You have studied this is maths, right? The simple operations on integers. And you can also do 3 into 2. It should be 6. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. And you will think, why I'm using spaces here? Is it required here to use spaces here? No, it's not required. I am just trying to separate these two. You can also write 2 plus 3. It's also 5 here. There is no issue with this. I'm just trying to make my code quite clear for you. I mean, by using spaces. That's it. It's not like you have to follow it. But I will advise you to basically follow some. I mean, when you're writing code, try to follow some good convention. Like it should be clear for others to understand your code. So that's why I'm doing it here. Now, okay, you can of course do like this, but it's better always to store in a variable and do this. See, you can always do x equal to, you can do x equal to 3, y equal to 2, and now always do, we will not use the print statement from now, right? We will avoid that. It's written in this side, but we will not use. What we will do, we will use x into y directly. So it will just print the value of x into y on the screen. Then we will do x plus y maybe. Okay, I forgot to put the spaces there. 5 is printed, x minus y. 1 is printed, x divided by y. 1.5 is printed. So of course, mostly you will not be doing something like this in your code, because always mostly in your code, you will always store the numbers in some variables. So that's why I showed you this example, like store it in a variable and do the operations. So now you can do all the operations on numbers using this. And also, if you want to do exponential, if you want to do exponential operation, right? Like what is 2 power 2, if you want to find out, then you have to do something like this, 2 times multiplication operator, then this will give you 4. Then you will think that, okay, this is just 2 into 2, that is 4. No, it's actually a power. You can try with this. Maybe 2, 4. The output will not be 8 here. It will be 16 because 2 power 4 is 16. When you use the multiplication operator twice, it becomes an exponential operator. Basically, you are finding the power of something. So the first one is actually, this is something like 2 power 4. This is something like this basically, right? So that's what is happening here. Now this is the power actually which you are trying to find out. And you can do some more practice on this if you want to. So you can also use multiple operators in one expression. right? You can use something like 2 plus 3 into 4. This will give you 14, because what happens, first this operation gets like 3 into 4 gets done, that is output is 12, then it gets added to 2, that is 14. Now you will think that how the programming actually works on this. Why does the Python first does 3 into 4? Why does not it do 2 plus 3 first, right? So there is actually, if you remember, you would have studied this maths in your school also, but there is a precedence here, like there is a preference to which operation will get first. Like if you have multiple operators like multiplication, subtraction, division, then one of these will get executed first. There is a rule on that. So I will talk about this rule, like what is the preference, what is the precedence of these operators in some different video. But of course, remember that you can use multiple operators in one expression. But let's say if you want to do this 2 plus 3 first, what you can do is enclose this in brackets, right? And do this. Now you see output 20 because 2 plus 3 got executed first, then 5 was there, then it got multiplied by 4 in the second step. That's why you are getting seeing the output 20. So always if you enclose something in brackets, that will get preference first. But I will talk about this, like what is the preference for everything later in a separate video. And also the spacing in the examples has no effect on how Python evaluates the expressions. There is no spaces. I am just using here for clarity. You can also write this as maybe remove the spaces there, right? You can write it. There is no issues there, but it's not clear, right? If you write something like this, it looks congested and everything, right? Output is still 20. It does not matter for Python if you use spaces or not. It does not matter. It's just for clarity. And also more about precedence of operators in a future video, not in this video. Now, integers are quite easy, right? You can do all these operations like multiplication, division, everything, right? That's quite easy. And I will say in this strings was very important because there are some operations we do not know. But integers, you know all the operators, right? Now, floats are like Python calls any number with decimal points a float. So, for example, x.1.2 is a float. Just use type of x. See, it's float. Data type is float here, right? So basically anything with something like point something, like with a decimal point, is a float in Python. The term is used in most programming languages. So if you go to other programming languages also, they call it float. And it refers to the fact that a decimal point can appear at any position in a number. So that's why float. What does float mean? It's floating, right? A decimal point is floating. It can be anywhere. It can be something like x equal to, it can be here also, like the decimal point can be anywhere, right? Type of x, print x, right? So it can be anywhere, right? That's what is float actually. There is a decimal point and there are some digits there. This again you are studying your math, right? Now you can again do operation of float also, like integer you can do here also, 0.1 plus 0.1, 0.2, 0.1 into 0.1, 0.10 to something, right? We will discuss about this output, right? How to print, how not to like have this much zeros here, right? You always will want to round off this to maybe 0.01, right? We will talk about this later. 0.1 minus 0.1 also you can do 0. You can do like something like 2 into 0.1, 0.2. Again, you can do all these operations here on the floating also, right? You can all do all these operations. So similar to integers, you can do all the operations here. Just that in some cases you see a lot of zeros here. I will discuss now here. I've discussed here, right? If you do 0.1 plus 0.2, again you see a lot of zeros here. But you want to print 0.3 here, not all these zeros, right? Now this happens in all the programming language. I mean, it is a bit of little concerned because all these zeros, right? Because it's where the system works actually, because systems are not meant for floating mostly. It is mostly meant for integers, right? And when floating, they see the output is a bit weird here. Now Python tries to find a way to represent the result as close as possible. It tries to represent here, which is sometimes difficult given how computers have to represent numbers internally. So there is an issue with float numbers because how the system stores float. Because of that, many programming languages you will see like there will be a lot of zeros here when you print float and all. So I will tell you one method of removing this. So use round function. This is another function called round. So you can use this. Again, this is again a function here, common function. So x equal to 0.1 plus 0.2. See, x value is 0.33300 something, right? You just want to print 0.3. What you can do is you can use round function, round of x. But it prints 0 here, but you wanted to print 0.3, right? Because if you do not, if you just find round of x, it will round 0.3 to the closest integer. Now, what is the closest integer to 0.3? It's 0, right? What is the closest integer to 0.6? What will be the output for this 0.6? It should be 1. Why? Because the closest to 0.6, the integer is 1, not 0, right? So that's how the round function works. Now, if you want to print like 0.3, what you can do is round x and 1. It prints 0.1. So you are telling that just print like one number after decimal, right? So after decimal, it only prints 3, right? That's what you are doing with this one. So that way you can use this, because you can basically use round function to round this off, round this number off if you want to. So see, when I use round x 1, round it to 1 decimal places, I got printed 0.3. That was the number actually I wanted, right? From this 0.1 plus 0.2. I do not want these additional zeros at the end, right? So you can use the round function here if you want to. Now another concern is integer and floats, because when you do when you actually do 4 by 2, or the output is 2.0, it's not an integer. So whenever you do a division operator on integer or floats, anything, the output will always be in float, right? It will not be 2, it will be 2.0. Remember this. Similarly, if you do 1 plus 2.0, once you are using, see, in the division case, the output will always be float. In case of like if you are combining, if you are adding integer and float, again the final output will always be float. Remember this. Similarly, when you are multiplying integer with a float, so what will be the output here? The output again will be float here. So always when you are combining integers with float, the output will always be float. And also remember, in the division, when you do division, the output will be always 2.0. Now if you want to round that, like of course, if you want to round that, you can use round function and do 4 by 2. You get integer 2 here. You can use always that if you want. So this is data type conversion. So this is very important actually, data type conversion. So you can convert one data type to another data type, right? This is it looks like magic, right? Converting one data type to another. So you can convert integer to floats, floats to integer, and maybe integers to string, float to string. This you can do. Take example here, right? So let's store now in variable, right? X equal to 4 divided by 2, right? So what is the value of x printed here? 2.0, right? But now you want to convert that into integer. Of course, you can use the round function. That is one way to basically write it as 2. But of course, you have another way. Just use int, put x here. This now converts the float into integer. See, this is again a function. Basically, you are using another function. You are giving the input this x, and what it is outputting is integer value of x. That's what it is doing, right? Similarly, you can do something like float of, okay, maybe write in x itself, right? X equal to 2, x equal to 6, right? Now you want to convert this into float, like 6.0. So do float x. It got converted into float now. This also you can do. Similarly, if you have, let's say, if you want to convert this number 6 into a string, this is an integer, right? Because what is string? String is something in single or double quotes, right? Now use str and write x. This will convert it, sorry. String object is not callable. Maybe I have used some, I think in the somewhere I have used string, maybe I think, because of this. Because what happens, if let me print str, maybe I have used this in history. See, I have used str to declare some variable name, right? You got this, why I got this error again, because string is a special keyword in Python that is used to convert any integer or float to a string. But what I did in, maybe I have not shown you here, but in my history here, I have used string equal to, I have assigned it to I have used it as a variable and assign it a value name. So that's why I got an error here. What I will do is I will delete this variable. Now, now it is a string again, right? So remember I did the same thing with print also, right? I did the same with str also. So always remember this, do not use special keywords with your variable names. You will see some random errors like this is not callable and you will waste a lot of time. So do not use special keywords here. So now let's do strx, right? Now we are back to like str is actual string. Now you see it got enclosed in single quotes. What does that mean? Now this 6 is a string, right? How you can check this is maybe write this in another variable y equal to strx, right? And use type operator to find data type of x, sorry, of y. See, for y the data type is str. For x, what will be the data type? It will be integer because x equal to 6 is still an integer, right? But you in y you are storing the str of x. You are converting the integer to string. Now the data type of y is str and for x is still int. So that's how you can convert this string. You can also convert float also. It should not be a worry. X equal to 2.0 strx. See, you also can convert float into strings. This also you can do. This is very useful actually when you want to convert one data type into another. But you cannot do everything. I mean, you cannot do like all the stuff there, right? You cannot convert everything, right? I mean, if you have x equal to string, can you convert this into integers? Try it. No, you cannot do, right? Because only you can convert something in digits, right? If in digits you can convert. Maybe if it is x equal to 1, 2, 3, you can convert this, right? str, oh sorry, int of x. Let's try this. It got converted, right? So if you have integers in the string, you can convert it. But if you do not have something to like base 10, that is decimal, if you do not have digits in the string, it should be all digits, then only you can convert that. Let's see this. ABC 1, 2, 3, right? Try to convert this. Again, you got the error because ABC is not integer. It will show you some error. So you cannot convert everything to everything, right? There's a limit, right? You can convert some data type into another. You cannot do everything here, right? So remember that. Okay, another one is very important, is multiple assignments. This is very important. So you can assign multiple values. So you can assign values to more than one variable using a single line. And in code also, this will look very good. You can help shorten your programs and make them easier to read. And you will use this technique most often when initializing a set of numbers. Let's say you want to initialize x, y, and z equal to 0. So you can do something like this, x, y, z, right, equal to 0, 0, 0. Now try to print x. Can I print something like this? I don't think. Okay, you can print it like so. You see if when you print x, y, z, right? You can print something like this also here. So you see 0, 0, 0 got printed. You can also use print here. Print x, y, z. So of course you can use print to. So this why I'm showing you print here because you can use print to print multiple variables also. Then you can provide multiple variable names also. Separate it with comma and you see 0, 0, 0 got printed. This way also you can do this, right? So it's not that print will only take like one variable name. No, it's not like that. You can provide multiple variable names also, but separate it with a comma here that you have to do. This is very good, right? If you want to initialize x, y, z by 0, 0, 0, another way is x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0. This is also fine, I mean, right? This also will work. Try to print it. This is also work, right? It's not. But which code is better, I mean? This one or these three lines, right? Of course, you have removed. Here, you're writing this same logic in three lines. Here, you're writing the same logic in one line. So I think this one is better for me, right? And it's very clear here that x equal to 0, y equal to 0, z equal to 0. But if you have like 10 variables at the same time, that may become confusing. But if you have 2, 3 variables, you can use this. It's quite good technique here. Now the last one is constants in Python, right? So what is constant is, a constant is like a variable whose value stays the same throughout the life of a program. That means if you have like declared like x equal to 2, right? Now you cannot change this value. That's constant. That's what constant means, right? You cannot change the value. So if someone tries to change the value of this variable x, then they should get an error if it is a constant. But the issue with Python is that Python does not have built-in constant types. So it has integer, it has string, but it does not have a constant. Other programming languages like C, C++, Java, they have constant. In that, what will happen? If you use constant for a variable, and if you try to change the value, you will get some error. But in Python, you will not get it. So there is another way actually. So what you can do is use capital letters. So if you want to declare some constant, and if some user is reading your code and you want to tell them that this variable is constant, it should not change in a program, use capital letters. Like let's say maximum size is equal to 100. Now you want the other users to understand that this maximum size is a constant and this will not change in a program, right? Then you can use capital letters to declare this. So that's the special meaning. But understand this, if you I can change this. See, I was able to change this value, right? Just print max size 20. I was able to change this because in Python there is no hard rule for constant time. So Python does not have this built-in type called constant. It does not have. But for your simplicity, for making the code look good, more clear, if you want to declare a constant, use capital letters. Use capital letters in your variable name. That way, somebody else reading your code will understand that this is kind of constant that should not change in your code. So that's another thing. Okay, finally, I think I'm done with this. So I hope that you would have understood like what are variables. Just I will do a 5-minute recap of this, right? So what are variables? Variables are used to store some values, right? Now there are different types of data that can be stored in variables. It can be integer, it can be strings, it can be float, it can be list, it can be dictionary. Of course, list, dictionary, I have not covered in this video. I will cover it in the next videos. So these are different data types. Now we discussed about like two important data types. We also discussed about function, right? What are functions? What are inbuilt functions? Then how to name variables. That was very important. 3 rules of naming the variables. You should follow that always. Then we went to strings. Then we know that strings is something within single quotes or double quotes, and anything you can use. But make it consistent. Either use single quotes everywhere in your program or either use double quotes. Then we looked at some operations on strings like lower, upper, title, R strip, L strip, everything. Then we looked at like F operator, right, for formatting. That is very important, right? So basically using F operator, what you can do is you can substitute the value of variable name in your string. That is very important, right? Try to practice it more and more, all of this. Then we went to integers, right? And integers was quite simple. We looked at addition, subtraction, multiplication, everything, right? And I think one thing I forgot to tell you is that there is one more operator called modulus operator. So that is 4 modulo 2, this is 0. So basically what is modulo operator is, so when you divide something, right, so you get a remainder also, right? And when you do some division, you get quotient and remainder. Now quotient is 4 by 2. What does this is give is, it gives you the quotient, right? Quotient you get in the while division, when you are doing the basic division operations, right, on the pen and paper, right, there you have quotient and remainder. So this is the quotient. What is the remainder here? For that you have to use 4 modulus 2. This will give you the remainder. See, 0. Now what is the 3 modulus 2? What is the remainder of when you divide 3 by 2, right? It should be 1, right? What about 5 modulus 3? It should be 2, right? Basically this gives the remainder. This is another important one. So we looked at the integers and operations on this, right? And then we looked at floats also we looked at, right? And you can use like multiple assignments also we looked at. So integer were quite simple. Integer and floats are quite simple, but strings was like a big subject here. Now this is done. Strings is done and numbers is done. Variables is done. Try to experiment with your code. Whatever you have learned, try doing some random thing and see if you are getting errors, why you are getting errors. Try to learn it, because if you do not do mistakes, you will not learn, right? So try doing mistakes. Try something random, right? Try something doing random with something, right? And see what is the output, why you are getting errors, why the output is this, right? Try to find out. And I told you I have the Telegram channel. I told you Free Code School, so you can ask me there if you want. You can ask me personally also wherever you want. Now the next video will be on lists in Python. Now list is another important data type, very important data type in Python actually, list. And you will be using list a lot of time in Python. As you are using numbers and strings, you will use list I mean, it will make your life easier in Python. I mean, lot easier in Python. So that's the next part of this series. And I hope that if you have watched this video, do watch that also. Do not skip that. I mean, I see that a lot of people, what they do is, whenever they see a tutorial, they see the first and second video, right? And then they leave it. Maybe they feel bored of that, but it's okay. I mean, if you feel bored also, if you're learning something, keep learning. I mean, because studying sometimes is boring. I mean, but once you are done with, let's say, 7, 8 videos, then you have learned a lot, right? It will help you in interviews. It will help you in personal way also. So try to do that. I mean, try to go through all the videos. Do not give up at the beginning itself. Like this is kind of first video in this series. Do not give it here. Go through all the videos, and like it takes me a lot of time to prepare these slides. Of course, you can get this slide link. The link of this PPT will be in the description. But it takes me a lot of time to prepare this because I have to think about, I mean, how can I make everyone understand this, right? So I, it takes for me a lot of time actually to build these slides and then show you here. And that's why I will ask you to subscribe to my channel and of course like this video and put some comments. Like if you have liked this video, do put some comments. And of course that will motivate me a lot. And maybe after Python, I can come up with some another series and teach you some other thing, right? So do subscribe to my channel. So that's all for this video, and we will again meet in next video and where we will cover lesson Python. Thank you.